Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I have the Fimi Mini with me today, and I'm standing in the shade here, so I know the light is not just right for this video, but it's a hot day, so I want to be in the shade. That aside, what are we going to do with the Fimi X8 Mini? Well, I've had issues with FPV disconnects with my iPhone disconnecting and not being able to see FPV. Still have an RC connection, still have control of the drone, just no FPV and the connection with the app. So we're going to take a look at that today. I'm going to tell you, I messed around yesterday evening. I had problems with it when I was in Montana. I hooked it up here right in this exact same spot yesterday evening, and my FPV connection was perfect. So I don't know what that's about. But the other, there's another couple of issues that are pretty common with this guy. And the horizon issue everybody talks about, mine has been pretty good with horizon. It's, you know, maybe off a little bit from time to time, but really nothing that I would consider to be a big problem. However, there are some other things. A lot of people have reported what has been called the gimbal flop, where in forward flight the gimbal will look down. It's particularly evident when you're in sport mode, but I've seen it happen with my own and others, even flying the drone in normal mode in both forward and reverse. I know my friend Ron Brown has it. I know Chad Boyce has seen it. And I know my friend John Coopy, in fact, his was so bad, he's just simply, he bought his from B&H, he's just sending it back, and don't blame him a bit. It's a big problem. And the thing about a camera drone is you have to be able to point that camera, and when the camera has a mind of its own, what's the point of having a camera drone, right? But the other issue that I've had, and I've seen in other videos, and particularly if you look at the recent Montana video that I posted, you saw a lot of jiggles in the video and even a little bit of jello. And you know, when you're trying to get, the point of a drone like this is you're trying to get cinematic, nice, stabilized footage. There again, that just is unacceptable and it doesn't work. I've seen it in other people's footage as well. Some people have it worse than others. My original Fimi Mini, the one that I dropped and broke, it was bad enough that it really wiggled the gimbal. So these are all issues, and I believe they're all primarily gimbal issues. So we're going to mess around today with the gimbal gain adjustment. I messed around with it a little bit yesterday. I'll be honest with you, I looked at the SD card. I couldn't really tell if I improved anything or not, but you can adjust this thing from 100%, which is the standard setting, all the way up to 200%, or below that, I guess even down to 0. So we're going to mess with some of those settings and see how it works out. The other thing that I'm going to do is, as all of you know, that I typically fly with an iPhone 11 Pro Max. I also have a Google Pixel 3. And I bought this phone just specifically so I could test with the Android app on various drones. So we're also going to take the time to fly this thing with the Android app and see if that makes any difference either. So this might be a fairly long video. I've got a couple of batteries, but we're going to mess around and just try some different things. I'm pretty close to home here. We've got moderate winds today. When I was in Montana, I had a little bit more wind, so did that have something to do with the jiggles in my gimbal? I don't know, but it wasn't bad enough that it should affect your camera. So in any case, let's put this guy in the air, and we're going to mess around with that gimbal gain adjustment and just see what we can see. Let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, we're all hooked up here. Everything's fired up. Let's start up the Fimi Navi Mini app. And I'm pleased to say we've got a connection. As I said the other day, I had problems when I was in Montana I don't know, I just kept losing that FPV connection. I do want to point out one thing that I really like about the Fimi remote control is the way your phone fits in here. It clamps it in nicely, but also it gives you access to all the buttons on the side and full access to your mobile device, which I just think it's a very elegant design. And while you don't have like a separate on-screen data on your phone or on the remote control, because there's really no place for that. It's really an elegant system, and I wish more manufacturers would go to that. So, well, we might as well, let's look at our camera settings here real quick, since we're messing around with it. So, let's go into camera. And we're at 4K 30 frames per second. We're going to leave the video quality, since we're not, well, let's put it on high. Let's put it on high video quality. What that would do for us is, we know then if you're in high video quality, you're maximum taxing the CPU and everything, all the processing on the drone, so that, you know, we want to make sure that's right. We're going to leave everything else really in automatic, including white balance. I'm going to format the SD card so it's in a form that the drone likes it. Format succeeded, so that's good. And then let's look at our safety menu real quick. And by the way, we're in 4K 30 frames per second. And safety menu, it is not asking for a calibration. Yeah, I think we're in good shape there. Let me click on ready to go at the top there, and that gives you your the pre-flight check. Check spelled C-H-E-K. So return to home, we're set at 50, and fail-safe is return to home, and stick mode 2, etc. And we already formatted the card, and it's not asking for any kind of calibration, so I think we're good to go. Let's go into the gimbal menu, and let's set that, go into advanced settings, and we're going to set the gimbal gain. You can see I have it at 50% now. That's when I was messing around with it last night. We're going to go back to the default setting of 100%. There we go, that's 100%. And yeah, we're going to leave it at that. Let's start recording, and let's take off here. The other thing I want to mention is, last night when I took off, I had some issues with stability on the drone. It was kind of weird. So we'll see what happens here today. Yeah, it's nice and stable now. I did this same takeoff yesterday evening in this exact same spot, and the drone immediately started doing that rotating motion. And so, yeah, anyway, it was really odd. But okay, so it's completed its takeoff. Let's bring it down and bring it into the camera here, so you can take a look at the drone. I always like to do that. And we'll bring it right on in here. Drone's feeling pretty stable right now, so I think we can bring it in close. It's sinking just a little bit. We'll pick it up. Okay, let's rock it back and forth a little so you can see that little gimbal, and that, you know, that gimbal seems to be working. And the drone rose. I didn't give it that that command. I was just going sideways. Let's drop it down again. And I'm going to pull back on the stick, and you're going to see the gimbal drop. That's how it keeps that stable. Saw that little camera drop down, and if we come forward, you'll see it pitch up. See that pitch up on the camera? And that's how that drone, that's how that gimbal operates. That's nominal operating condition for the gimbal. So let's go ahead and start out here. And again, we're at gimbal gain of 100%, and we're just going to we're going to start out with a droney here. So reverse and up now. So reverse and up. Drone is flying great. I see, you know, when I'm looking at my FPV screen, I see a little bit of a tilt on the horizon, but nothing horrible. And you know, the only reason you see that is because we've got grid lines up. If you were just looking at the raw video, you likely wouldn't even see that. And so we're just going to go for a fly around here, and you know, I may not be able to see it on the on my FPV screen here, but when we get a look at the SD card video, what we're looking for is little micro shakes in the video here, and I saw them quite a bit when I was in Montana, and a little bit in this same situation when I was flying the drone around here last night. So we're full stick forward now, and I see we're about 37 meters high. Drone is screaming by there. This is a fun, sporty little drone to fly, I'm going to tell you that. And let's just do a square around here. We're going to go to our right. We're not going to go over the road there. And then let's just go to the end of this corner of the field. Full stick forward. And I see we have a little bit of loss of signal there, of FPV signal. Now it came back, and I was facing directly towards the drone with the controller, so no excuse for that, although we did have trees between us. Okay, we're going to go straight forward here, and this is a good spot that I can see if cars are coming or not. And again, we're in normal mode. There's no cars coming, so we're going to go across this road and over Discovery School over here. And again, I'm facing the controller directly towards the drone. And you know, we've got really good, a really good FPV connection. This is a look that I take with a lot of drones so that it's familiar to everybody. Now I am seeing, you know, it looks to me like we may have a little bit of a tilted horizon here. But you know, like I said, again, it's not horrible, and as I yaw around, it's straightening out. And I haven't seen, now again, we're in normal mode, and I have not seen any a dip in the gimbal. And now, if you look at it, that the horizon kind of tilted the other way, but we're still in good shape. Okay, we're going to go full stick forward and back over the charter school grounds here across the street. And I see an individual on the ground there, so we're going to kind of stay away from him. Okay, and flatten that horizon back out. And I didn't see any dip in the gimbal at all. So I'm gonna bring this guy back in here and bring it in front of us. I gotta admit to you, I was kind of startled there. I was so focused on flying it back towards me, I forgot about the cell phone tower there, but I did see it, so that's a good thing. It's fun watching the drone in the air and watching it hit the brakes. This drone flies great. I mean, it's really fun to fly. I'm telling you, if they can get these gimbal issues straightened out, this drone is a winner. Okay, let's bring it in here. So I am going to go into the menu here, and we're going to change gimbal gain. Into that gimbal menu, and advanced settings again, and gimbal gain, and we're going to drop it down to 50%. And let's see how that affects us, and if we see any differences in the way that gimbal operates. So again, let's bring it in here. Bring it down in front of the camera. and rock it back and forth. And you know, to my naked eye, I don't see any differences in how that gimbal is operating. Backwards and it drops, forwards and the camera lifts up. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. So so let's do our droney here, and we are at 67% battery, so that's good. So let's do our droney, reverse and up. We were up, I think, about 30 some meters. I think that's close enough for us, pretty close to where we were. So so let's turn the drone around, and we're going to fly that same circuit and see if we see any differences. There's a couple guys right there playing frisbee golf, so we're going to get to this side of them, and then I'm going to move forward. And we will go around, like I said, attempt to fly kind of a similar pattern to what we did on that first flight. So we're just going to do a square around the school grounds here. That was my quick yaw there. We're in full stick forward. And I have seen no dip in the gimbal, and we're in normal mode. We'll at some point here we'll try it in sport mode, but so far no gimbal dip at all that I've seen. Okay, I'm off the throttle now, and we're going to turn to the drone's right again. And I had a little bit of FPV blockiness there, but I realized I was not facing the drone, so that's understandable. Okay, full stick forward again. And yeah, I mean, the gimbal is holding its position well. A little bit of shakiness on FPV there again, so I'm off the stick now. And the gimbal is held perfectly. Okay, so we're going to go again to the right. And again, we're going to go over the top of Discovery School. And this does give us a good, that's me yawing just a little bit there. And you know, on the FPV screen here, we got a car coming, I'm going to wait for him. On the FPV screen, you know, I don't see any shakes, but you know, often that's not evident until you're looking at it on a big screen. And so my monitor on my PC, did it seem to me like that guy slowed down? Anyway. We're behind him now, so we're good. I have a 32-inch monitor on my PC, and yeah, I think I saw a little bit of a gimbal drop there, just a tiny fraction of a little bit of a gimbal drop. And you know, it's funny. There's a little difference in our horizon too. So, okay, there we are. Let's yaw back around to the right again, and we'll bring it back to us. And this time, we'll change that the gimbal gain to 150%, and we'll see what we can see. And we got some guys out there. I kind of want to avoid those guys that are out there, so we're not flying right over the top of them that are playing frisbee golf. Well, we're going to shoot a little bit to this direction, so I think we can avoid them here. And point back towards us. And I will see if I can avoid that cell phone tower this time. I mean, it startled me that time that last time because I just wasn't paying attention to the corner of the screen there. I was focused on bringing the drone back in towards me. This thing is fun to fly, I'm not gonna lie. You know, you can see it there. I brought it in. Man, watching that drone hit the brakes was really cool. Okay, so let's go into that menu again, and this time we're going to kick that gimbal gain up to 150, and let's see what differences we see. I got to be honest with you, just what I saw just there. Oh, that's pitch speed. Holy cow, what am I doing? Leave that at 50. Sorry about that, guys. We're going to go into gimbal gain, and we're going to go all the way up to 150. So there's 150%. Let's bring it in close again, and give you a look at this. So we're going to rock it back and forth, and again, I see no difference in the way that gimbal is operating. And you know, up and down, I mean, it seems just the same to me. So I don't know, but anyway, let's, we've got a disc golf player right here, so we're gonna let her, she's kind of right in our path, and we're gonna let her move out of the way, and then we will do our droney. So, okay, at a gimbal gain at 150%, reverse and up now. Reverse and up. And we're gonna go up there about, what we were, about 37 meters high. That's about right. Ooh, and I did see a drop in the gimbal there when I let off the stick. Definitely saw a little drop, little gimbal drop there. So 37 meters high. So I'm going to kick that gimbal back up, get back to our rule of thirds. So that definitely made it. I mean, if that gimbal drop is anything, turning that gain up definitely made a difference. So again, we're going to go to our right and go to the corner of the park here, or to the school grounds here. And then back to, that was to the left, now to the right. And we'll go, again, fly that same pattern that we were before. Okay, full stick forward now, and we're down to about 37% on this battery, so we're about right here. So let's kick it full forward. That's full forward on the stick in normal mode, and I saw a little bit of a gimbal drop there. So I'm going to say, as you turn the gimbal gain up, it creates more of that situation. So as soon as we get to this corner, I'm going to drop right off the sticks, dropping off the stick now. And that didn't do anything. We didn't see any change. Didn't see any kind of gimbal drop. And again, as far as shakes, little minor shakes on the gimbal, you guys will have to tell me that, because I haven't looked at the SD card. Now, it looks to me like the gimbal dropped there a little bit when we were doing our when we were doing our turn there. So let me kick the gimbal back up and full stick forward. And I'll tell you when I let off. So I'm on the right stick, I am full forward in normal mode, and it picked the gimbal up just a tad, didn't it? And off the stick now, and that didn't do anything, so that's good. So let's turn to the right again, and we're getting kind of down there on battery, but I think we got enough to complete our flight here. So let's go full forward, and we'll go over Discovery School, and then we'll bring this baby in for a landing. Yeah, it's telling me it wants to come home, but I think we're okay, except for we got another car coming, so we'll wait for that guy. This is kind of a good spot because I can see both directions on this street. And full forward again. And I'll let you know when I let off the throttle here. And yeah, I'm definitely seeing gimbal drop there. You guys saw that? Oh yeah, definite gimbal drop. Okay, off the throttle now. and nothing when we got off the throttle, but as we were going forward, I definitely saw that. So let's go, let's point back around to the charter school grounds here across the road. Full stick forward. And yeah, I think we saw, yeah, I definitely saw a little bit of a dip there. And that was me messing with the yaw right there. Okay, so let's execute a return to home and see if we can get a precision landing. But, you know, just going by the limited things that I can see right now, and executed return to home, so you'll see it, well, usually it picks the gimbal up a little bit when you go into return to home, but I didn't see it that time. Anyway, so it's coming back to us. And I'll drop the gimbal down as we get closer here so we can watch the landing. But yeah, definitely, I think the higher you adjust that gimbal gain, the more issues I saw. I saw more stability with less gain. So in fact, I think I'm going to adjust it while it's coming down here. I'm going to adjust that gimbal gain. I'm going to go back down to 50%. If I can get it here. Look at that, I did it. Okay, so landing pad not detected. Let's see if it gets it here. Landing pad not detected. Oh, it found it. I bet we're going to be right on the pad here. So you can watch on the GoPro here. We should get this. Yeah, it's coming down. I'm looking at it. I'm going to pick the gimbal up because this guy doesn't do it automatically like some drones do. And it's within the screen on the GoPro now, so you can watch it. We're looking darn good. And it drops down. Look at that, right in the center of the H. I mean, I don't think you could be any closer than that. And we're down to 16% battery, and I didn't notice what our flight time there was, but it was pretty good. Okay, let me get everything shut down here, and then I'm gonna switch to my Android phone. I've never flown any drone with an Android phone, so we're gonna try it out and we're gonna see how it works. And then I'll also be able to look at those settings and see if it made any changes to the settings too. So anyway, let me get all this stuff shut down. Okay, so it took me a second. I had to re-log into to my Fimi, but yeah, I mean, everything looks normal. You can see on the screen recording. New user guide, no, we're not going to do that. We know what we're doing. Well, I don't see any way to avoid it, so we're going to click start. And let's scroll through all of these. And enter the camera view. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so it's going to give us a walkthrough of all this stuff. So let's scroll through that real quick, and you guys can look at this and see it if you're interested. And okay, so we got through that, so we're looking good. Hey, it looks great on screen. Let's double check those settings and see if anything changed. I want to look at the gimbal setting and look at our advanced settings, and yeah, it left the gimbal gain at 50%, which is where I had reset it before I landed, so perfect. That's great. Let's look at the camera menu and set the video quality back to medium is the only change. So we're going to put that back to high, and we're going to put our grid lines on because those were off, and we should be good to go. Let's check that safety menu. Yeah, return to home height, it's saying 49 meters, which we had it at 50 before. That's fine. That could be just a difference in the in the two phones. I don't know, but anyway, we're going to leave that alone. And it's not asking for any other kind of calibration, so let's go ahead and start recording now. And I did that on the app, and really, honestly, I'm looking at the interface on the app and it looks identical to me, and it's coming in perfectly. And now the reason that this is interesting is because my friend Ryan Duvall, he was trying to fly his with his Google Pixel 4 and he couldn't get it to connect. Mine just first time here, so it's kind of interesting. And again, we set that gimbal gain down to 50%, and so we're going to be looking on this flight for shakes and so forth in the video, and for that dreaded gimbal drop. And this time we're going to try sport mode too, so we're going to try it both directions. So let's go ahead and take off here first, and I did that on the app, and that was just normal. So yeah, I mean, man, I've got a great view on the Pixel 3 here. I mean, yeah, auto takeoff is completed. That was me dropping the gimbal down and pick it back up just a little. Let's turn this baby around, and we'll drop it down and bring it in here. Bring it in close. You know, it's funny. I always have so much more confidence with DJI drones. I'm never afraid to bring them in really close to the camera, but some of these other guys I will. Oh, this guy's really stable right now, so no issues. So let's do our usual drag back and forth, and there's that gimbal is operating just as you would think it would. And before these guys move in front of me, there's some guys playing disc golf. I'm going to get our droney going, so let's drop that gimbal down so we get that pre-positioned. Reverse and up now. And I'm going well above them so they don't hit us with the disc. They throw those discs pretty high sometimes. So let's get back here. Yeah, we were back further than that, a little over 100 meters, and let's get back up to that 30. Yeah, that's about right. 38 meters. That's close enough. And we are going to yaw to the drone's left and go out to the corner. And let me pick that gimbal back up. I should have done that before. Whoops. So one thing I can tell you I've noticed on this phone is that I don't see the grid lines are not as evident as they are on my iPhone. They're a little softer. Just a point of interest. But boy, our horizon looks good. I'm going full stick forward right now, and I am seeing no gimbal drop, nothing. And this is in normal mode. We're going to do that same pattern again that we did earlier with the iPhone, and then we'll drop the thing into sport mode and we'll try it one more time. So off the throttle now, and I saw no issues with the gimbal dropping or flopping like we have seen in the past. And I need to turn around. I see my signal strength was dropping. I was not facing the drone, so there we go. That helps. So let's go full stick forward, and I am facing the drone now, and we're seeing the signal drop just a little bit. We're shooting through trees. Full stick forward and off the throttle now. And boy, I'll tell you what, nothing. Yeah, that gimbal looked really good. I need to slow down my yaw speed just a little bit, I can tell you that. And again here, let's go forward and go towards the school. Full stick forward. I'm going to kind of adjust our yaw here to get... Boy, there's a car going by. He's going pretty fast, isn't he? I think we can get in just right behind him. Yeah, that timing was perfect. And the drone is moving right along. Again, this is a fun drone to fly. We might have had a little tiny bit of gimbal drop there. I couldn't tell for certain, but off the throttle, I don't think so. I think that was just my imagination. But yeah, you know, I'm kind of hypersensitive trying to watch this stuff on the screen. And I've got to tell you, this Google Pixel 3, I'm going to hold it up to the camera right now so you can see it. It's oh, we're getting a compass interfered. I don't know what that's about, but it's working great. And you know, I see really functionally no difference between it and my iPhone. So I'm happy with that. So we'll turn around and come back towards us here. Let's full stick forward right now. And off the throttle. And I saw no changes in that gimbal. Okay, we're going to bring it back towards us. See if I can miss the cell phone tower as I'm dropping down here. Yeah, a little overcorrection there, huh? Wow. So, man, I'm struggling a little bit with the yaw control here, as you could tell. I'm sure it was evident to you guys. I need to look at that and see what we can do about that. And I'm sure that has nothing to do with this phone. That's the nut behind the wheel. Bring her on in. Okay, so we are going to go in and we are going to enable sport mode. And again, I want you to be watching the gimbal and see if you see any flops or drops. So sport mode is on. Yeah, and it gives us this warning. Gain and expo. So gain and expo sensitivity, so that's interesting. And you can't use intelligent flight in VPU mode. Okay, so that's good to know. I'm glad that they give us those warnings. Let's see, I'm just trying to think if there's any reason not to take off now. I don't think so. So we're going to do another droney. So reverse and up, reverse and up. Boy, this thing is definitely responsive, and that's me kind of messing around there. I was looking at the drone and not my FPV screen, so you saw me kind of moving around, and we definitely altered our horizon there a little bit, didn't we? Yeah, whew. Yeah, and they are right about that. Whoop. Let me see if I can get that camera adjusted where I want it to be. That's close enough. A little bit higher. So I'm overshooting it here, which makes me think I'm going to go back into the gimbal here, and the gimbal pitch speed at 50%. I'm going to drop it down to 30%. I think maybe that's where I had it before. I can't remember for certain. Because I definitely want to drop. So we're going to test that gimbal pitch speed here. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, we're back to 30%. And okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to do the same grid pattern in sport mode here. Let's look towards this way, and we're going to go full stick. Well, let me move out just a little bit. We're going sideways, and boy, that affected our horizon just a little. Full stick forward, and then stop. Oh, and we definitely saw some gimbal tilt there. Now, a lot of drones will do that, so I am not going to throw it under the bus for doing that in sport mode. So a lot of drones will do that on purpose to keep you, because the drone pitches so hard, it does that to keep the props out of the shot or even the top of the drone. So we're going to go full stick forward on my mark. And yeah, we definitely saw that gimbal flop there or drop. Let's move to the side here so we avoid those people there. And the drone is moving right along at about 16 meters per second. That is some high-speed droning right there, 17 meters per second. That is, And that's me yawing around. We definitely see a little more horizon tilt there. So let's pick that gimbal up again. And back to the rule of thirds. And let me turn around and face the drone. I always forget to do that. So full stick forward on my mark. And yeah, definitely seeing that in sport mode. And the drone, and I saw a little breakup on FPV. Stop now. And I let off the stick there, and it didn't seem like it changed it much. I hear an aircraft, and until I get eyes on him, we are not moving this drone. Oh, it's not an aircraft, it's a lawnmower. So no wonder I couldn't tell. I got an aircraft on the way on the other side of me, so that's what kind of confused me there. Okay, so we're going to yaw around towards the school. And we're going to go, boy, this really is using up the power, isn't it? So let's do an experiment here. I'm going to go back in, and yeah, it's giving us that compass interfered. That's coming and going. That happened to me yesterday as well. Let's go into the gimbal settings again, and let's drop the that gimbal gain down even more. So gimbal gain. Oh, well, now this is interesting. So when you're in sport mode, it doesn't allow you to adjust that. That is interesting. So look at this. We're in sport mode, and it's got the gimbal gain adjusted to 0. That is interesting. So okay, so that explains what they're trying to do. So that's fascinating stuff. So again, in sport mode, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not expecting that gimbal not to drop or move. You know, if this was an FPV quad or something like that, it might be different. But anyway, okay, so let's go full stick forward. And we saw it drop there. And it dropped again. Let me pick it back up. Yeah, see, it just keeps kicking it back down. And I believe, and we're clear on the street, so I'm trying to kick it up, and it's not letting me do it. Well, there it kind of held it. Yeah, so I was trying to kick the gimbal back up, and it just keeps pitching it down. I gotta believe that's by design. So I mean, I think it's because, I suspect it's because of how much the thing the thing has to pitch when you're in full throttle. So yeah, I mean, I think we learned a lot here. Okay, so just for the fun of it here, we are going to go back in, and we're going to take sport mode off. Sport mode is off. And then let's go back into that gimbal settings and go into advanced settings. And look at that. See, our gimbal gain again is set back to 50%. So that is interesting to know. So you lose control of the settings on that gain if you are not in or if you are in sport mode, you lose those settings. And it even says on there, I'm reading it, adjusting the parameter may cause gimbal jitter. So, you know, I saw plenty of gimbal jitter, and it seems like turning it down has helped. So it'll be interesting to get a look at the SD card when I get home. So let's come on in here, and I am going to, whoa, Nelly. That was, wow, that was a really unexpected move there. I mean, I was on the sticks, but I thought I'd let go of it. But man, that was quite a yaw. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to. Boy, I need to slow down that yaw for sure. So, but anyway, I'm going to see if I can kind of do a little bit of an orbit. Whoa, Nelly. I'm trying to to keep that center of that cell phone. Whoa, man. Yeah, I'm struggling. Trying to keep the center of that cell phone tower in the middle of the frame. And again, we're in normal mode. Well, I'm getting better at it. Oh boy, it's so easy to over yaw. Okay. Let's, I'm gonna go, man, I need to take a look at the adjustments on that. So let's go in there. You know, when I'm just looking at my battery, the line that tells me on the battery is different. Yeah, no, it just went into yellow. Okay, so it just changes. So I wonder if we can, in controls, yeah, I don't know, I don't see anything there. In gimbal pitch speed, yeah, I don't know where I adjust those yaws, but that's something I'm gonna have to take a look at. Yeah, it's wanting to come home, so let's go ahead and go full stick forward here. And we're gonna fly it right over the top of us. And I'm looking at the drone here, and there is a hawk right below it. That was interesting watching that hawk. He was probably wondering what was going on. Okay, we're gonna hit return to home on the app now. And I didn't see how fast we went there, but anyway, return to home. And let's see if we can get another precision landing. This guy is pretty good at it, so I suspect we will. And the drone is on its way back to us. Went up to its return to home height, 50 meters. And drop that gimbal down. So we're looking straight down now. And this is often when you'll see a little bit of jitter on the gimbal as well when you're looking straight down. And I don't see that precise landing little dialog box that we get with the iPhone on this version, but it's definitely looking for it. You can see it's found it, but you just can't tell it. And this time the orientation, it's facing away. I'm picking up that camera, and you should be seeing it on the GoPro right about now. Well, I picked up that camera a little too far, but anyway, it looks to me like it's going to be right on the H. Look at that, right on the H again. So congratulations to Fimi for figuring out that precise landing, because it seems to work really well on this drone. And the other thing I like, again, it shut off recording there when it landed, so no difference between that and the Android and the iOS version of the app. So it's kind of fun having flown both on iOS and Android here. Let me get everything shut down and we'll do a conclusion. Okay, we got just enough battery in the GoPro to do our conclusion here. So the Fimi X8 Mini, gosh, this was a good flight, I believe, and I think we learned some stuff that I can tell you without looking at the SD card. I want to look at that and see if we have any jitter in the video. But it seemed to me that turning that gain down to 50% on the gimbal seemed to improve. It definitely improved the gimbal drop. The higher we set that gain, the more we saw that gimbal drop when we were flying it. At 50%, I don't think I saw any gimbal drop at all. Now again, that's in normal mode. As soon as we put it in sport mode, we looked at that adjustment it's set to 0 and it takes that adjustment completely away. So I'm going to say that drop in sport mode, that's something that Fimi will have to look at. Here's the thing, I don't see that in sport mode. I don't see it as a problem, because if I'm trying to get cinematic footage, I'm going to be in normal mode, or even, normal mode for sure, or even one of the slower modes. When you're just, I don't think you're going to have those problems. So based on what I saw here, just experiment around yourself, but I think if you're seeing that gimbal flop, I think if you turn that gain down a little bit, you'll probably be able to eliminate it. Now the jitter, until I look at the SD card, we won't be able to tell for sure, but you definitely, those of you who saw my Montana flight with this drone, you definitely saw plenty of jitter in the video, and that was at the default settings from the factory. The gimbal gain set at 100%. So again, this is all just trial and error, and yeah, so go from there. But it was interesting to see the difference between sport mode, normal mode, and setting it at the different settings. So let's see, what else did we do? I also got the opportunity to fly the drone with my Google Pixel 3. As you know, I'm an Apple phone guy and fly an iOS on everything, but I bought a Pixel 3 just so that I could do things like this. And you know what? It was seamless. It worked really well. The only thing, you know, I saw a couple of little minor differences. Like I said in the video, the grid lines weren't as evident on the Google Pixel 3 as they are on the iPhone. You know, big deal, right? But it connected seamlessly and worked just fine. So no complaint with that either. But we ran 2 of the standard batteries through this guy in that experimental process, and I realized it was a little bit repetitive. But I'm doing that for a reason, because I wanted to be able to look at the subtle differences. Now, when I get home, if we see any differences in jitter in the video or jello in the video, we can take note of those too, but I'm not going to know until I look at that video off the SD card. Just looking at the little FPV screen, it's tough to see. And again, what I want you to know is when I'm looking at it at home, I'm on a 32-inch curved 4K monitor. So it's, you know, it probably amplifies things just a little bit that maybe you might not see on a smaller screen, but I still think it's important. I think any jitter in the video is unacceptable. So other than that, we had no connection issues at all. Everything connected and ran fine. Fun to fly drone. I did notice, and I don't know if it's because I had it in sport mode, and then when I went back to normal mode, did it change the settings? But man, I was struggling a little bit with the yaw there at the end. I have a feeling that even when I turned sport mode off, the yaw settings stayed the same, because it was like it was handling like it was in sport mode. But in any case, I guess that's about it. I hope you found some value in this. I know I learned some things. So this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one, the Fimi X8 Mini. All right, see you guys later. Bye now.